Another question, how does the public get back there?
There's a door.
There's a doorway to let them back there, so even if they go out the other way somebody's got to let them in.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't think they changed nothing on the security. I wouldn't think so. That's the way the procedures are gonna work.
Did you say there's a committee already set in place?
Well, you heard Tom say there is a courthouse security team. After the shooting, we put together a countywide here of commissioners and Todd, the administrator, court people, and actually looked at all our buildings, not just the courthouse. And so that's why I say we did make a lot of changes. We spent a lot of money over there making the recommended changes. And I just want to make sure that this fits in with that overall.
Yeah, we should maybe pass it by them or ask them.
Well,
I don't know who it is, but.
So, Mr. Chair, the notes that I've just taken down is number one, we want to see an option B where we push the wall out to the glass with some corresponding drawings and costs. The second item admin committee wants to see is that the final plan be reviewed by the court security committee before construction can be approved. Is that pretty accurate of what you're hoping to see?
And us, and this committee.
Got it.
I think in the order, it should probably go to the courthouse security first, let them sign off on it, and then give it to us.
Okay.
And then we'll sign off on it.
So before we engage court security, we need to take a look at the option A versus option B, finalize what works best for friend of the court, what works for this committee, reach that consensus, get it priced out, and then I'll take it to the court security committee as well as admin committee.
I think that would work. But, you know, also, I guess I'd throw in there, Commissioner Meeks made a good point when Tom said, in the future, we're gonna do this. Well, maybe it would be feasible to do it now.
yeah.
So I don't know, I guess maybe you could find out where their head's at on that.
Yep.
And if there is a reason why they don't wanna bring it to us now, I mean, that's fine, but at least tell us why. So that way they're not coming back to us in 2 months after this is done and going, now we wanna do this.
Yeah, Todd and his buddy were already looking at the wall in that one room, but, oh, if we took this down, and then they walked out and said that's made out of wood, but they were looking at it for some reason, so why not do away with it now?
Yeah, I mean, it's at least worth talking about.
Yeah.
And I don't know, is that wall, is that wood, is that original construction? Is that something we wanna trash or is something we wanna look at?
I don't think it's something you want to throw away.
So
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I don't think we just wanna tear it down and trash it.
I'd like to have it, I'll come get it.
what's neat about that wall is that is where previous Board of Commission meetings was held.
Yeah.
So until this building was purchased, that's where the commissioners were meeting. And as you stand in that space, you can actually see where there was almost like like a dais, a stage where the commissioners sat. You can see the overhead lights are still there, or the wiring is.
So that wall could talk.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did
So-
you have meetings over there?
I was over in this building. We were already here when I came.
So, I've got some notes here. I will work with Buildings and Grounds on all of these items. It'll probably be a couple of weeks, but I can definitely get you all engaged on this.
Okay, that'd be great. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else on that topic? Brian, anything?
No.
Commissioners, anything?
no.
Okay, next item on the agenda, Silver Beach erosion control quote.
So, I've emailed all of you. It's a 9-page proposal from Avonmarsh, and it's probably more than you need, but what's interesting in this proposal is it does give a variety of current conditions, the images of current conditions, but then they also pull up historic images showing you what it has looked like as recently as 1974, and just showing what this area looked like in the late 70s when when high water was once again a major concern. Avonmarsh has looked at the area. They think there's about 300 lineal feet of Silver Beach frontage that needs attention. And the type of attention is really the question as to what should be done there. From my personal opinion, I think you all need to do something. As we go down to take a look at it, the city of St. Joe just recently worked on the end of their street right-of-way immediately adjacent to Silver Beach. They used B&Z construction, and they used just essentially riprap. It's not the prettiest, but it is effective. They're dealing with so much erosion that I don't think they had time or money to focus on aesthetics. As you look at Silver Beach, you could spend as little as probably about $300,000 or as much as $1.5 million, depending on what you want this to look like. The proposal from Avonmarsh is going to remind you that this water level is going to go down. And so as we armor Silver Beach, you need to be thinking about what it looks like in 5 years as the lake level begins to drop and what you want to see there. I can tell you that I worked on South Haven's South Beach and South Haven's North Beach projects, and the biggest mistakes that we made on those two projects, on the South Beach side, we had small seating areas similar to what Silver Beach has, and they were built atop sand. The amount of erosion that is pulled out from under those seating areas has caused them to collapse. We've had to go in after the fact and essentially shore them up, pouring what were called E-walls to give them some stability. Silver Beach, we have a small picnic area that's in the same condition. It's going to collapse if we don't reinforce it. The biggest mistake we made on our North Beach was not giving a lot of thought to seating space. There was a concept where we would have poured a small seat wall, 3 to 4 foot high wall, that would act as one more layer of erosion control, but could also be sat on, could also just be almost like a part of the park. If that's something that's desired, now would be the time to do that. It would control some of the blowing sand. It would also create just more usable space for families and visitors to the park. These are all things that are pointed out in the Avonmarsh proposal, but they're all going to have costs associated with them. My goal is to get you all aware of the situation, to get you thinking about what you want to do with the situation, and then to pull in our Parks Commission on what they want to see done to the park. What we know for a certainty is the water levels will start to go down, and I don't want to see you have a situation where you've got riprap that's been installed for this year, and in 2 or 3 years, you've got cries for the public saying that it's ugly and they want it gone. So this is kind of a tricky one. We know we need to do something. City of St. Joe has stepped forward saying that they're concerned about the stability of their street and that they're willing to put in some dollars towards the project. They have not defined how much they're willing to put in. They want to get a better understanding of what the county's plan is, and then they'll clarify how much money they'll throw towards the project. The chair pointed out that we can go to the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund. That's absolutely an option. We cannot do that until we have a plan put together. As far as other financing sources, this is one that all day long we could go upstairs and look to essentially do some internal financing. Brian Bailey has noted that the Parks Commission is likely going to endorse an increase in the daily fees. If ever there was a time to justify that increase, it's this project. The project is one that it will not happen fast. There is no way we're going to have this ready for the fall, winter. We'll have to go through the Parks Commission, we'll have to go through admin committee, ultimately to the Board of Commissioners to approve a project. Along the way, we've got to do a joint permit through the Army Corps of Engineers and the Eagle. And then we also will have to finalize some type of intergovernmental agreement with the city of St. Joe if they choose to participate in some cost sharing. So with that said, I think you are flying if you get this done in 6 months. I think realistically, this is.
I don't think it's gonna be possible.
I don't know.
No.
So, the real question for this group is, if we assume that this group is desirous of pursuing a fix, how many quotes for design services do you all want to see? I went to Avonmarsh because they're a known quantity. I've worked with them for almost 2 decades. We have Edgewater right down the street. This is right up their alley as well. If this committee is good, I would go to Edgewater, have them give us a proposal, and then just allow you to finalize your decision based on a couple of proposals. If you want more than that, that's fine.
I'd like to see the 2 of them. with the
Two, I think
proposal.
that's all we get, the 2.
What did the Army Corps say?
Haven't done any outreach yet.
Well, if I may say something,
Yeah,
Army, Israel is pretty good to people in
Israel
DC.
is close.
And one of the things Army Corps of Engineers asking, is there a project that you want us to do in your area? You know, they said that to Israel, and I believe it can happen. And I want to say something about the riprap, and I think you did some seawalls and all this stuff right there, that's $1.5 million. It's easier to do something temporary, but when they say it's unsightly, let's remove it. So it maybe cost 300,000, you know, it maybe cost 300,000 to remove it.
yeah.
That's a lot cheaper than $1.5 million. It's gonna go down, so we're not gonna need the riprap. So when we get, let's deal with the issues when we have to. That's my feeling on it.
Yeah, mine is
Yeah,
maintaining the same.
yeah, maintain, do what we gotta do now.
And I just came out of a project where we worked with the Army Corps. We did what are called HESCO barriers. It's essentially just a big plastic box. You fill it with sand. HESCO barriers are something that are relatively cheap. Once you set them, you leave them.
Yeah,
And you don't touch it until the water levels begin to go down. But at that point, it's essentially a disposable product. You
yeah,
don't try to save them. Once the water levels begin to go down, you essentially just bulldoze the HESCO barriers, allow the sand back onto the beach,
Yeah.
and get rid of the boxes.
if I may say one other thing. The Army Corps of Engineers put that beach, their sand right back on that beach. The sand is there, all do is pump it back up. So if we can get some project and something like that, maybe that will help us later, maybe that restore more beach.
I don't know the history, but didn't St. Joe put the sand on there in the first place?
I don't know.
Well, I can't answer that, that's
I
probably.
mean, I read that somewhere, but maybe it was somewhere else. I thought that they did.
It sounds right, man.
But like I say, the sand is there.
Yeah, and I don't know, Mike, I mean,
I don't
as long
know.
as I've been around, I've never heard that. I've never heard any discussion.
That's my first time hearing that too, Mike.
My goal for today is to get you all down there, just to take a quick look at the amount of beach that's been lost, but also to take a look at our sidewalk. Because we do have a path there, we do have some seating space there. It has been undermined.
Yeah,
So we know that we're gonna be facing some maintenance costs, and really it's just a question of how much you wanna chase this thing. We could do as little as 50 feet. My recommendation is if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna go through the design, you're gonna go after the permits, it makes sense to look at the full 300 feet.
Yeah.
Despite COVID-19, despite 50% parking capacity, we are still tracking to see similar numbers as 2019. Silver Beach is popular.
yeah,
If you make these improvements, you can easily justify a rate increase to help pay for those improvements.
well, people understand. We get something on it. And, but we gotta really, we got an asset we gotta protect.
So the feedback that I've gotten is I should get a second proposal for the design services. I will make a point to touch base with the team at Edgewater, get them looking at it. That's 2 local firms, it's 2 firms that do a ton of lakefront work.
Okay, what I was gonna ask is, what does our county policy say? just says you have to get two?
I would have to look at it.
And my other question is, why are you bringing this to us? Parks reports to PHSC, and then you're talking finance, finance knows
Yeah.
about bids and those kind of things. And so why is it coming to us?
Because when we started talking about this, between myself and Brian Bailey, we're kind of scratching our heads on who should be the first to look at this. And we completely agree that PHSC does oversee parks, but we also agree that the admin committee generally is taking a look at capital improvements. So my plan on this is, once I settle how many quotes to get, I'll then go to PHSC, make them aware of it. Then I'll be going to finance to figure out how we're gonna pay for it.
Okay.
This is a big enough issue that I wanted to make sure that you are all seeing it. I just didn't want any of you surprised.
All right, and you've got two companies right here locally,
Mhm.
that this is right in their bailiwick.
Yep.
Okay, do you see a need to get a third, to go outside the area and grab a third one?
I think for design services, I will check to make sure that we don't have any adopted policy that says I have to get a minimum of 3 design quotes. For the actual construction, that's when we'll want to go through competitive bidding. Now, I'm new enough that you may have a policy that says I need more than just 2. If that's on the books, then I'll get a third.
Okay, yeah, and I'm just wondering, because I sat on finance and PHSC, and I know there's a policy that deals with purchasing and getting quotes and all those kind of things, so if 2's enough, I'm good with that, just getting the 2. I'm also good with contacting the Corps of Engineers. You know, because I think they've done some things down in New Buffalo. They helped out, so I would encourage that.
I would encourage that Israel be involved in that.
Okay.
Commissioner Scott.
Okay, anything else on that topic, Brian?
No, sir.
Commissioners, anything on that topic?
Nope.
Okay, and when we adjourn, we're all going down to Silver Beach and physically take a look at it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Annette, would you offer up public comments? If there's anyone who has a comment, we'd like to hear it.
I will do that. I think I'm the only one watching, so I don't think we'll have any, but I'm gonna ask the question anyway. I do have one more thing for you guys, though.
The other committees get at least 2 or 3 people watching.
Yeah.
We don't-
Sorry.
we don't draw-
And Thursday's your normal board day, so it seems like you guys have people watching.
We could always go hop on the boat and go to the Silver Beach and anchor and then see if we.
There you go.
Um,
You got a boat, Brian?
I do not.
Big enough to handle all of us?
I did.
Oh, Chris does.
There you go. So, the Community Corrections Advisory Board, which actually Commissioner Hugel sits on, so it's great that he's here and part of this. They have 4 vacancies on that committee. And as I mentioned during the board meeting, I'm trying to work on getting help back up.
Which board again? I'm sorry.
Community Corrections Advisory Board.
Community Corrections Advisory Board.
They
Okay,
meet every quarter. It's around the noon hour. And, it has, judges and the sheriff and citizen, a county commissioner,
Prosecutor.
mental health is represented, criminal defense attorney, communications or / media, probation officer, and then MDOC.
which commissioner is assigned to that?
Me.
Oh, that's you. Okay. And they have
Um,
4 open. How big a board is it? How
It's a
many?
big board.
I mean, are they missing anything by 4? I mean, if it's a big enough board, they may not miss
There's
4.
15 people,
How many?
15. If they were full, they'd have 15.
Okay, and there's 4 openings on that board now.
There are 4, so 2 of them are easy. One of which is, actually 3 of them are easy. So one of which is, Chris Renna was our public defense attorney who was assigned to that. And of course, Paul has been attending, but we have not officially appointed him in that position. So that would be one of them. The second one is our citizen person stepped down. We did, so this was at the beginning of the year, because we did post it and accepted applications for citizens. And I have a Mary Jo Schnell, who is the executive director of the Out Center in Benton Harbor, and she has applied to be that citizen person. There was one other applicant for the citizen spot, It was an employee of the court, and this was back when Bill was still here, and conversations with Bill and Carrie Smetanka-Haney, who's the one who's involved with this board, and as well, they reached out to the organization that oversees this, and I don't recall who that is right off the top of my head, but, and it's probably a conflict to have a court employee other than what we would normally have in a, so, after speaking with Carrie, this Mary Jo Schnell individual would be the one that we would, I would like for you guys to recommend for the citizen spot. And then the other one was our police chief. So we lost our police chief that we had on here before. He was, I think he was City of St. Joe, Brian. So he's not there anymore. And so the Police Services Council reached out and said, I need a police chief to fill the spot. And Dan Unruh, Senior, who I believe you probably know from 911.
Richmond?
Yep. He sent an application, and so I would like to have you recommend him for the police chief spot. That would still leave our business community position, which has been a tough one to fill. I don't know why. We've advertised it a couple of different times, really never got anybody to apply for that spot. So that will leave that one vacant, and I think there's a judge switch that's gonna happen, because it has a probate judge, a district court judge, and a circuit court judge, and I think they were gonna move those around a little bit, and they don't have to apply the normal way, you know, so they'll let me know which one they wanna do there, and then I will probably be bringing that, to the full board to get approved as well. So I'm just looking to you guys for consensus on those recommendations to put Daniel Unruh as the police chief and Mary Jo Schnell as the, citizen position.
Yes.
And then Paul Jancha Jr. as the public defense attorney.
Yeah.
Criminal defense attorney is what it's called.
And he's been coming to the Zoom meetings anyways.
Correct.
Would you like to make a motion, Chris?
Yeah, I would make a motion that we accept those individuals as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any discussion? So that'll leave you just one open spot, and that's the business person spot.
Right, which we can repost. I'm gonna have, we just received, planning commissions, some person stepped down, so I'm gonna have a vacancy there that I'm gonna have to fill. We're still trying to fill a vacancy on public works, so I probably will be putting out another press release. That's how we advertise those, through a press release, and so I can add that to it again and see if we can't maybe get somebody interested, or if you guys know somebody, you know,
Well, I
let me
think-
know.
The president of the chamber, I think, would be a good person, because he's kind of the face of the business community, and it would be a perfect fit for Arthur Havlicek. If I can invite
Maybe
him.
we'll make it
Still-
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Good-
have
you're a
him,
good person.
have to give him my contact information or something, and then I'll get him an application, and we can try to move that one forward as
And it's
well.
not a big time commitment.
Yeah, it's 4 meetings a year, that's it.
5 now.
Oh, is it 5 now?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And these are one-year positions, or are they multiple?
These are 3, where's the term? Oh, this one doesn't have terms. So this, when we created this board, they don't have an expiration date on their terms. They just continue in those roles until they can't continue anymore. Or they fall out of the category. For example, you know, the person who is in mental health, I think, is gonna be leaving in that role. So they'll have to find somebody else in that role to fill that spot. And so, but other than that, yeah, you pretty much, once you're there, you stay.
Okay, great, thank you. Would you please take the roll?
I will. Commissioner Bugle?
Yes.
Commissioner Meeks?
Yes.
Commissioner Majerick?
Yes.
Commissioner Kern?
Yes.
And thank you very much. That will be on the agenda for next week's board meeting. So I will put that as an administration committee recommendation, and then we'll have the full board vote on that next week.
Yep,
Thank you very much.
that'll be fine.
Thank you, Annette.
Thank you, Annette. No public comments?
I'm still the only one watching. So
Any public?
Yeah, that's it. So you're good.
That's it, huh? All right, do you have anything else for us, Annette?
I don't.
Okay, Brian, do you have anything else for us? Okay, I assume we're gonna follow you down, are we gonna park in the main parking lot, or are we driving, I assume you're at the south end, that we talked about, right?
So,
What do you want us to do?
we're all going to just